All right, Nick, let's talk about the Kansas City Chiefs. I think this is definitely my pick to make it from the AFC side of the things. I really like how the Chiefs are looking, and they're going into a big-time game this weekend against a tough opponent in the Jacksonville Jaguars, but I think they're very, very capable of handling the Jaguars, especially with a new addition that is back on the roster, and we're going to go into that story here in just a moment. But Chiefs fans, by this time, you've seen probably about 30 playoff games in the last 2 years because the Chiefs are always in it. But we want to know for this specific game, what do you think the score of this game is going to be? Let us know in the comments below. But Nick, what did the Chiefs have that is going to give them the edge in this game versus the Jaguars?
Yeah, so obviously Pat Mahomes and that offense, I think it's going to put up a bunch of points against Jacksonville. No one is doubting that offense is going to score. But the fact of the matter is, can Kansas City slow down and stop Trevor Lawrence, who at times has been unstoppable? We all saw that comeback against the Chargers. Well, the big news for Kansas City on that factor was reported by Ian Rappaport is that Frank Clark, who is suffering a groin injury, is a go and will play against the Jacksonville Jaguars, this big, obviously, divisional round matchup. I think that's absolutely massive for Kansas City. And here's why, Mize. According to Warren Sharp, when Trevor Lawrence had a clean pocket and wasn't pressured, he has a 55% success rate, averages 7.2 yards per attempt, 68% completion percentage. When he's pressured, Mize, listen to these numbers. 17% success, so a 40% drop in success percentage, 1.7 yards per attempt, over 5 yards per passing attempt drop. That's ridiculous. And only a 22% completion percentage. Mize, that's a huge drop. That's all according to Warren Sharp. He does good stuff over with Sharp Football Analytics. So it seems to me that the formula, as simple as it sounds, is getting pressure on Trevor Lawrence. Those numbers show it's even more amplified to how Lawrence plays against the pressure. And Frank Clark is a pass rush pressuring specialist. Getting him back on the field is huge. Mize, give me your thoughts on this one.
Yeah, Nick, having another top tier Michigan pass rusher, they've been producing a lot lately. He's a little bit older, came from that 2015 draft class, but I really like what Clark adds to this defense. Obviously Chris Jones is the face of this defense. He is a monster, but Clark is, like you said, that pass rush specialist. He's able to get after the quarterback. And here's some PFF stats for you, Nick, okay? This season, 45 total pressures. He's had 9 quarterback hits, 30 hurries, and 6 sacks. So he can get to the quarterback. He can get Trevor Lawrence moving, get him off rhythm, off balance, outside the pocket, trying to do things. And as you said, that when Lawrence has been pressured, that is when he is at his weakest. A clean pocket is where he's strongest, and that is what Clark does. He makes that clean pocket a little bit dirtier. He's a little bit nastier. He's getting after the quarterback. And the Chiefs fans have got to be happy that Clark is back in the fold.
Yeah, and here's the other thing people remember about the Jaguars, too, is the strength of their offensive line is in the middle. Obviously, the Chiefs have Jones, right? He's just an absolutely dynamic defensive tackle. He does a lot of disrupting up the middle. That's going to be an interesting battle to watch. And because how good the Jaguars are in the middle, especially with a guy like Brandon Scherf, it will put more pressure on the Kansas City defensive ends to be productive on the outside pass rush game. And that's why getting Clark back to kind of alleviate some of that pressure and make some plays on his own where he will have favorable one-on-one matchups most likely will be pivotal in this game. And I think that's why Kansas City has a chance to really pull away from them, because if they build a lead, which I think they will with their offense against the Jaguars defense, they can let guys like Frank Clark loose against the Jacksonville tackles. And that's a matchup that Trevor Lawrence and the Jaguars do not want. I like the Chiefs to roll big because of an advantage like this.
Yeah, Nick, and I like how you bring up the offensive line because there's a lot of inexperience on this offensive line for the Jags. Right tackle Jawan Taylor, 2019 draft pick, a little bit older. Left tackle Walker Little, 2021 draft pick. This is only his second year in the league. Then you obviously got Luke Fortner in the middle, this year's draft pick from 2022. There's a lot of youth, a lot of inexperience. Not saying that they're not good, but with that, all those things combined, I think it's a recipe for success for some veteran savvy pass rushers in guys like Frank Clark, in guys like Chris Jones to kind of go out there and make their play. So I think all the things adding up for the Chiefs, they match up very, very well against the Jaguars.